Welcome to T Boys TV. We are back again with another Hat Show, obviously episode 216. And obviously, in this one, we will be obviously previewing that Blackburn game, obviously tomorrow. Obviously, we got a very poor away record, as we know, so we need to right the wrongs. And obviously, we will discuss the game the other day. Good to get a win, but it's like we said, majority of the season. Let's follow that up and get that consistency going. But first of all, Dad, obviously you weren't quite on the last one. But how you been since?
Yeah, not too bad, mate. Thanks. Everything's cool.
Yeah, all good, all good round here. Obviously, we had Sam on the channel, which was good to finally get him on the channel. Obviously, Stoke fan to obviously preview that game, and yeah, he said Manoof would be the difference. He was not the difference. Elijah was the difference. But shout out to Sam anyway. But yeah, going into the Stoke game, we both said a draw, Dad. We felt it was going to be one end game, just with how we was this season. Stoke are very inconsistent, aren't they? They're very hit and miss. Thought it'd be one end type of game, similar to Swansea. That's how I sort of felt the game was going to go. As for the lineup, obviously Kaminsky was in goal. Hashioka, McGuinness, and Holmes was the back three. So, I mean, looking at that, I had my doubts with Hashioka and right centre back, and that's only because I know he's better as a wing back. Um, you know, but I guess we had to go with it. It was obviously, we had the likes of Bell out. Obviously, Mengi's got that long-term injury and stuff like that. Obviously, we had Moses and Chong as the wing backs. I'll be honest, I was a bit sceptical of Chong as a wing back because the last time we saw it was obviously Norwich. Obviously, it weren't great for him on that second goal. But Moses there, I mean, he done well the game before that, so I didn't mind it. Krause and Clark, which again, Clark's always going to be a shoe-in. But I do think it was a much better game from him in this game, to be honest. I thought his set pieces were very good, causing a lot of havoc. And then obviously we had Elijah, Brown, and Morris. Obviously as that front three. As for the bench, we had the likes of Anderson, Johnson, Krul, Ruddock, Nakamba, Nelson, Shea, Taylor, and Woodrow. So good to see Nelson and Johnson on the bench again, both at the same time. Obviously, they're the youngsters that are coming through the most at Luton at the moment. And obviously, we rate Johnson quite highly, and same with Nelson. I mean, I've always sung his praises from that youth game he had against Birmingham. So it's good to see that they're back involved. Obviously, Rob Edwards did say at the start of the season he wants to try and, utilise them more. So that was good to see. That they were there. Obviously, we didn't make any subs though, which was quite interesting in this game at all. But I mean, few interesting shouts in that lineup when you first saw it, wasn't there, Dad?
Yeah, just obviously the force changes. Hashioka, you know, it's not as great. It's similar to the Bell situation when he plays on the opposite side. It's not his natural position. He's not really a central defender at the end of the day. So you know what I mean. It's risky, but then we ain't really got anyone else to put there. So it is what it is. And it's interesting that we went kind of three up front. I think that worked quite well. And we knew Clark was going to start. Obviously, Baptiste's injured, so it's pretty much what we expected. The youngsters on the bench, obviously, they're going to come in. We want to see a bit more of them at times, but at the end of the day, like they haven't really set it alight. Particularly Johnson, but he hasn't been given much of an opportunity. Let's be honest. But if we had other players fit, obviously they would have been on the bench instead of them. I feel so. So yeah, luckily we've got informed fit strikers at the moment. So that's but yeah, to have all of them start, that was quite interesting as well.
Yeah, I agree. Obviously, we've seen them. We see them all start against Norwich, but I think this game it's quite different, wasn't it? In the sense of where they were, especially like Brown, for example. I didn't really know where he was against Norwich, if I'm being honest. But he's obviously knocking on the door, like you say. Obviously, Elijah and Morris, obviously doing well. Obviously, both scored in this game. And did obviously call Morris to score. But yeah, starting on the first half, I mean, I'll be honest, guys, I too much for the first half. I did see their goal. Again, that's where we do have our doubts about Hashioka. I do feel he should have done better. I think he knows it, given by the reaction. Obviously, he tried sticking his leg out, but obviously it wasn't quite enough. Of course, it was Tom Cannon as well, the guy we was obviously heavily rumoured with. And they take the lead from that. It was a pass in. Like I say, we could have done a bit better defensively, I feel. Yet again, Kaminsky couldn't have done nothing about it. Should have dealt with it before that. And yeah, I mean, at that point, I was thinking, it could be one of them days, to be honest. Not where we get absolutely slumped, but just where we just don't get a win. I'll be honest at that point, but obviously I was proven wrong. And again, like I say, I didn't actually see it live, but I did see it at half time. But yeah, it was a bit of a frustrating one yet again to concede, wasn't it, Dad?
Yeah, it's the same. You know what I mean? I didn't obviously work. I was watching it. Wasn't working properly at first, and then I went to flash scores. I mean, straight away conceded, and I thought, you're gonna presume, the worst kind of thing. But then what I did do was put it on a radio, old school, 3 counties, and when I started listening to that, we were all over them. Do you know what I mean? And then what was it? 10 minutes, 15 minutes later, if even that, we got the equaliser. So yeah, but I would say Ashio, that's what it is. He's crap. I've said it before in that game because he's not. And maybe he needs help, but what else are you gonna do? Do you know what I mean? Like,
I mean, the thing is, I'll be honest. Obviously, I said about putting Anderson in, but however, I say that he hasn't really looked the same, has he, since he's come back? The other day there was 2 mistakes I think he done.
Yeah. I mean, he needs a bit of time.
Yeah. You can see that he shouldn't be rushed in, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, and that's the way it is. You could say you could put Holmes there and then put Johnson on the other side or whatever, but it is what it is. I think he'll probably end up still starting there. But other than that, he wasn't that bad. Let's be honest. Do you know what I mean?
No.
And at the end, when they did get the winning goal, the celebration, and Hashioka was basically like, you could see he was almost saying thank you, like, you know what I mean? So we don't want to make mistakes, but the fact that he's playing in these positions, he's doing whatever he can for the team. Yeah, do you know what I mean? So I'm not. And Cannon's a good player. I see people criticising Kaminsky again. Do you know what I mean? What's he supposed to do? Like he comes rushing out, tries to block it. On another day, he might have blocked that. Do you know what I mean? So it's not that deep, and actually he made some good saves anyway. So yeah, it is what it is. But this happens, doesn't it? It's the manner of what you do after that, and that's when we kicked on, and I got listen to the rest of that, and then watch the whole second half. The way we were playing was, you saw signs of the old Luton there, 100%, definitely. Like the fight, 2-man, like trying to get, you know what I mean, like fighting for each other. You definitely saw that. It's probably our best home performance since the Watford game, I'd say.
Yeah,
but these decent enough, showing that fight, etc. Really, that was the main thing, and we didn't let our heads drop.
Yeah, obviously, before we get into the second half a bit more, obviously we'll talk about the equaliser. Jordan Clark, great cross. His deliveries in this game are really good. Obviously based on how he was in this game when it comes to his crossing, he's a player that's knocking on that door. We did, well, me personally, I'm not too sure about you guys in the comments and you, Dad, but I did have my worries a little bit with Baptiste being out. Who's really going to take him? I mean, Moses was obviously a one that was there, but who was going to provide them good deliveries? But I'll tell you what, Jordan Clark in this game was really good with them. Obviously, there was a few. Obviously the goal as well was obviously the talking point. And what a header that was from Morris. And we know he's very good at that. On his day, obviously, he scored quite a lot of headers at his time at Luton. But that was a really good header and a great cross, pinpoint cross, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a good header on it. And it's funny, like, because we haven't really seen Clark take anything, have we? Even when he has been playing Doughty, everything. And we've said for ages, mix it up. It's only a game and that, but like on FIFA and that, if I haven't got Doughty or whatever on my team or sold him or whatever we've done, Clark automatically takes all the corners and stuff. Do you know what I mean? So you think like, they have this knowledge on there. And if you think, he is very good with the ball at his feet generally, isn't he? So, that's just food for thought. So hopefully, I think he'll be on him from now on and definitely until Doughty comes back. But mix it up. Do you know what I mean? Because his deliveries were, I don't know, they were just pinpoint. Whereas I feel like Doughty I don't know if he's been told just to float it in, do you know what I mean? But these were like, I don't know.
They look dangerous pretty much every time.
Yeah, and it was good to see Morris score, especially
first goal in a while. Yeah,
keeper had like put it in, like peach of a ball, and that's what helps. Normally, and the pace of it and stuff. Do you know what I mean? Like I've seen when Doughty crosses it in, it's just sort of floating a little bit, or it's just sort of goes to a certain area, like back post, or it's too close to the keeper or whatever. Do you know what I mean? Whereas it weren't happening. Like it was just, and that's a classic Luton goal, if that makes sense. Like that's the sort of goal. Some of the goals we've scored to see, they've been a bit not lucky, but not like that fight. A set pieces. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, I was really pleased with that. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like I always say, set pieces is our strong point, especially from corners. So it's good to see that it did work, in this game. And again, like I say, as a few times, but that was proper pinpoint, and that was a great header as well to cap that off. And then obviously going into the second half, like I say, we were very, very dominant. I thought we were very rampant. In a way, obviously the performance was better in my opinion, but in a way of the dominance, it was quite similar to Sheffield Wednesday when we made them subs. We were just having corners after corners, and I was watching it and I was saying, apologies about that. It's a matter of time before we're going to score. You know what I mean? And that's how I felt really with that. And then obviously we did in the end. Obviously Elijah obviously got the goal right at the end. And looking back at it, that's a great finish. To do that first time. Obviously I think it was Kraus who had the scuff shot. Let's be honest. But then Elijah to be there and do that. 3 out of 3 for him now. We know he's a confidence player, so that's great to see. And obviously, I was saying about dropping him only because the situation of Morris that he had in the Premier League, in the sense of give him a sort of let him have a point to prove. But again, even taking away the goals, I do still think Elijah has been one of the better players for us this season because his work ethic, like the way he just presses relentlessly in games, it's incredible. And obviously he's capitalised on it in the recent games, Norwich, obviously the Swansea game, and in this game not quite similar in the sense of that press, but obviously got the winning goal. So he was buzzing, and it was great to see, wasn't it, Bud?
Yeah, 3 and 3. But before it, actually, we could have had more. Clark involved from another corner where they cleared it off the line. It was a bit of a scramble. He had 2 cleared off the line. That
happened in the first half as well, didn't it?
Yeah, he had 2 cleared off the line. So he definitely deserved a goal. And the passing between Moses was really good. We've seen the best, the Moses that that you want. He passed with, I think it 1-2 with, I don't know, I think it might have been Kraus. And then Morris cut back. He should have definitely have scored that as well.
Yeah, he knows by that reaction. Yeah,
but the opportunities, it could have been more. I think Stoke were poor, but so what? you still got to beat. We've played teams who are poor and still got nothing or whatever. You know what I mean? So yeah,
or
it
not
was
all 3 points.
yeah, Kraus. It's scuff shot. Probably was going wide, but Elijah picked his awareness there and to turn. And again, at the beginning of the season, he probably would have spooned that. But yeah, it's a clinical finish. And to score right at the end as well. That's we haven't done that for ages. We had quite a bit of that in the Premier League. We'd score a lot of late goals, and that helps the team gel more. I think because they never give up, and I think that's another reason why Rob Edwards keeps saying about it as well. Like it's really important because that is a big that part of why we done all right in the Premier League. Do you know what I mean? We stuck together till the end. Do you know what I mean? And we was the team that scored the most late goals. I think, or well up there, definitely.
It was,
see that is good, and that's what you want to be. You want to be dangerous to the end, and that goes to why there was no subs made, because I didn't feel at times thinking maybe, but I never thought no, we definitely need to make a sub, not at any point. So, and it was obviously the correct decision in the end. So hopefully they're not too knackered. It's a good game. We have got a poor record in general. Obviously, we'll get into it, but the last couple of times we've played there, we've done all right, and we do have quite good games against Blackburn, key games as well, and this could be another key game because they're pretty. We've got the worst away record in the league at the moment, in form, and I think they're all right at home, but overall their form's dipped a little bit. But anyway, it's a great finish, perfect timing, and there was no coming back from that, so it was good.
Yeah, and I agree with what you're saying about the subs as well, because you look at it, we were chasing a goal, wasn't we? And Woodrow, he comes on, he don't really do anything nowadays, does he? Let's be honest. And as for Taylor, obviously he doesn't. Well, he has got them chances, the recent games, and he hasn't really done much, has he? So you look at it and you think, well, what change are you actually going to make?
Obviously, point I've made before, like with Taylor, like he's and Woodrow to a certain extent, they're coming on when we're losing and stuff. I want to see them coming on when we're comfortably 3-1 up, 4-0 up, something like that, and then they've got that pressure on them, and you know what I mean. And then if Taylor score a couple of goals, then they could come into the situation more. But I think he's going to be off in January anyway. But that's what I'm saying. It's easier for players to come on when especially attackers, when you're winning comfortably, because the pressure's not on them so much. Do you know what I mean? But yeah.
Yeah, and either way, like I say, obviously, even when you look at attacking midfielders, we had obviously, I count Nelson more as a striker, but when he has played, he's played more as a sort of midfielder, hasn't he? Cam, sort of out wide, etc. You're not going to throw him in straight away when he hasn't been on the bench for quite a while now. Obviously, there's no Baptiste there. Other than that, it's players that are more defensive minded. Other than two strikers, obviously mentioned. So there is also that, to be honest. It was one of them where, in the end, it worked. It worked. It's a good win. I'm happy. But like I say every time, guys, so far this season, we need to keep that going. And again, Dad, like you say, when we play Blackburn, they are usually, defining, like you say, and obviously our away form's terrible. Let's be honest. So can we change that up? And obviously, I'll get into a few stats that we do have against Blackburn, which are good. And link into what you said about the recent records and stuff like that. But we'll go through some comments before we get into the player ratings. Shout out to everyone inside as well, by the way. Big up to Paul. He says, good evening, lads. Big up to yourself, mate. Hope you're well. Exile Hatter says, evening. Big up to yourself as well, mate. Good evening, David says. Hope you are both well. I think we are still not up to our standards, but we got lucky in the end. Hopefully this kick starts the wins. Exactly. And that's the thing. As much as I felt the performance when it comes to the attacking threat was good, obviously you do have your worries defensively because of the players we have out. And obviously, like I say, having to put Hashioka in the centre-back role, for example. But overall, I did feel it was a better performance. I don't think it was still to our standard, but I do think it was good. but we just need to keep that going now. And I do think, well, I won't get into it too much, what I was going to say when it comes to that, but I do agree. Shout out to Rich in the chat. No way Anderson's ready. Yeah, like I say, even when he come on in the Plymouth game, he looked like he couldn't even walk. He looked like Elijah when he come on in the playoff second leg. But he didn't look like that the other day. He was very sloppy, and you could just tell he weren't up to speed. But I like Anderson. You know, I want to see him get more of a go, but definitely not at the moment. I do agree. Jackie says hi to Daz. I thought Jordan had a good game. Yeah, definitely. Well, one of his better games this season, in my opinion. Hashioka is not playing in his natural position, like I said last season. We thought he was shy, but hopefully improves because he's a good player. And that's the thing. He's looked, obviously, like we said as well, you know, he's obviously got that trust now to play in that centre-back role. Because let's be honest, if that was last season, even though we had injuries all over the place, we probably wouldn't have done that, you know. So he has looked a lot more composed, to be fair to him. Obviously, he's got a chant ringing around now as well, so that's good. But no, I do think there is good stuff to come from him, and I want to see him because we see it at his former club, and I know you've mentioned it as well, Dad. Have them pop shots, you know, because he has scored some really good goals, and I do think we need to start shooting outside the box more as well at times. You know, obviously use our set piece, utilise our strength, but sometimes we do try and run it in. Sometimes I'd like to see a pot shot. We have got them players that can do that. You know, Hashioka, Clark can do that. You know, we have a few others as well. Morris, you know, he can do that. You remember that goal he nearly scored against Wolves last season. So yeah. Richards says, yeah, Clark had a good game alongside Krause. Yeah, absolutely, he did. He did. That was one of his better games for sure. But yeah, moving on to the player ratings. So Kaminsky, again, the goal, we couldn't have done nothing. I did feel towards the end of the game he was quite key for us in just seeing it out, claiming the ball a few times and, you know, showing his quality, really. So for me, I won't go too high for Kaminsky. I'll just give him a 7.
Yeah, I'll give him a 7. He made definitely one decent save, and he other than that, he didn't have loads and loads to do, really. So yeah,
Stoke's shooting was awful, other than their goal. It's dreadful, really, to be honest. But yeah, totally agree. Good to see Charlie on buses in the chat. He's give Kaminsky an 8. Fair enough. Obviously, do join in the chat as well. Moving on to Hashioka. Again, like I say, he could have done better on the goal, I'll be honest. I think he knew it as well. But overall, I felt he was okay in the game. You know, it wasn't terrible, you know. So I'll just give him, I'll go 6.5.
No, I'll give him a 7. I thought other than that, he was quite good. Trying to link up, didn't make any mistakes after that. You know, and the way we were playing helped obviously as well. But you know, he didn't let that affect him, and you know, he was still involved and stuff. So I'll give him a 7.
Yeah, and that was a good thing. Like, let's be honest, if that was last season, it probably would have affected him. But again, he's got that trust now, hasn't he? You know, to even go there, you know, in that position when it's not ideal for him, but you know, he done all right. Other than that, he done all right. Kaminsky 7.5 says Jackie. 5.5 or 6 says Charlie for Hashioka. Fair enough. Kaminsky 7, Hashi 7, and Hashi 7 as well. From Terry. Moving on to McGuinness. Again, I thought he was decent. You know, obviously he's had more standout games for us, I would say. But he was decent in the game, so I'll just go over 7.
Yeah, I'll give him 7. Pretty solid. You know, looking more comfortable in that position. So yeah, I'll give him a 7.
Yeah. Charlie's gone with a 7 as well. Moving on to Holmes. Oh, I thought he was brilliant in this game. I thought he was quality. You know, the way he was getting stuck in, you know, his work ethic, like the way he was just he was just getting stuck in every single time. Even if he pushed up higher to try and win the ball, I thought he was really good in the game. You know, obviously I didn't quite see the first half, but originally I thought it was him on the goal. But obviously it was Hashioka. So, you know, that was going to put my rating down, but I realised it wasn't him. But the second half, he was so good. He was so good. And it was good to see that he's coming in the team regularly now and stuff, because I do think even with players back, he can definitely stake a claim on that left-hand side. for sure. Especially with Doughty being out for a while. Hopefully, then it means Bell can go a bit higher up and vice versa. But yeah, he's either way, he's doing really well. Does remind me in ways of Lockyer, just as a sense of how physical he is, and obviously similar hairstyle as well, like I said last time. But yeah, really good. My man of the match actually in this game. I was really impressed with Holmes actually, so I'll give him an 8.
I'll give him a 7.5. I did think he was excellent, but I rate him anyway. I've said this before. And yeah, he's been given the opportunity and carries on with that fight and playing like that, then he's shooing to start games, isn't he? Yeah, he deserves it as well. And he's actually embodying what we're about at times. Showing that fight, harrying players down and playing the correct passes and things like that. And he's a danger at set pieces and stuff like that as well.
Didn't he?
Yeah, before he actually does score, you know what I mean? So yeah, I'll give him 7.5.
Yeah, and obviously me putting him in the votes is now his first vote of the season. So be interested to see how many he gets come the end of the season as well. 7.5 says Jackie for Holmes. Terry says McGuinness gets a 7. Same with Jackie, went with 7 as well. Some of his passes were off. Yeah, I was just so impressed with his work ethic. The way he was getting proper stuck in. I'd just love to see that, to be honest. So yeah, fair enough. I mean, it has been like that from certain performances, though. I felt Krause was sort of like that. His tackling was great against Swansea. Not this game I'm talking about, against Swansea, but his passing was a bit off. But yeah, I just thought Holmes he was such a brick at the back in this game. Put in great blocks, real leader. Yeah, exactly. And again, judging on that performance, obviously, if he continues it, he could be another one that's in that leadership category. We do have them leaders. We don't always show it. There's loads of players in that lineup you can put in there. Give it to Kaminsky. I'd say you give it to, even though he's just joined, you give it to McGuinness. Especially that he's the one in the middle of that back three. Holmes, if he continues like that, he'd definitely be up there. Clark, if he continues like that, there is the players. Obviously, Morris is going to be the one, but we do have them players. It's just they're not always showing it. But yeah, moving on to the next player, we will go over to Chong. Obviously, he was a wing back. I did have my worries just because of that Norwich game. Like I say, in my opinion, you're not utilising him to his strengths, which is being that cam. But I didn't think he was too bad in the game. I mean, he did get a yellow card, but he wasn't terrible. So I'll just go 6.5.
Yeah, I'll give him 6.5. This is we know he's better. It's difficult with him and Moses, really, because they're better going forward, and particularly John, more because he's, that's what he's running at players and stuff. So he was helping out Hashi as well, I think. It was on that side. But yeah. But he didn't make any mistakes this time and stuff, you know what I mean? And he was still releasing the ball quickly and things like that. I'll give him a 6.5, yeah.
And to be fair, even before that error, you could say for that goal, that second goal Norwich scored, I actually thought he'd done all right, like tackling wise, in that game. Like starting off, especially in them first 10 minutes. It's just that obviously moment. But yeah, throughout the game, he was all right. He was all right. 6.5, Jackie's gone with as well. 5.5 or a 6 for Chong, says Charlie. Fair enough. Moving on to Moses. Again, a lot of people gave him man of the match. Obviously, he got it in the stadium. I thought the last game he was really good against Swansea as well, especially in that wing back role. Obviously, bit skeptical of him just defensively because we want to see him higher. We know he's better as an attacker, but the last 2 games he's been really, really good there. Obviously, he did have his birthday a few days later, so shout out to him. Obviously, hope he had a good one and stuff. And yeah, had a good early birthday present, getting a man of the match award, and hopefully he can continue this. Because again, even when he come on against Norwich, he looked good as well. So he's keeping that going at the moment. So he could be up there for a man of the match. Based on that, I'm going to go 7.5.
Yeah, 7.5. Thought he was good. But we know he's good anyway, and this is what we wanted to see from him. I think like he's been mixing it up a little bit because he can defend as well, but we need to be utilising him going forward and creating chances and playing him through balls and passes, etc. And I think he's allowed to do that more, it seems, or you know, he is doing that more regardless. And you know, that's what you need. You need someone with that quality. You know, keeps the ball a bit like Al Barkley was. You know, he thought, nah, he's going to get tackled. No, he ain't. Do you know what I mean? He's very good at holding up the ball and turning players, things like that. So that's what we signed him for at the end of the day. So that's good to see. And yeah, 7.5.
Yeah, absolutely. Just quickly, shout out to Barkley. Obviously, he did score in Champions League. Massive deflection, but still, come on. That was good to see. He started scoring quite a lot now for Villa. I think that's like his third goal this season. So fair play to him. But yeah, other ratings. Chong 7 played on right wing back when he is more left sided player. Yeah, and that's the thing, and he was still all right to be fair. So yeah, I agree in that sense. Moses 9 says Charlie. Okay, fairly high rating. Fair enough. 7 good battle against Kumas. Yeah. And that was quite interesting because obviously Kumas is on loan from Liverpool. So it'd be interesting to see. Obviously, they have potential, them players, don't they? Against Moses, who's not ideally a wing back, and he done well, like say. So I do agree. Do agree with that, definitely. Big up to yourself, mate. Hope you are well. Good to see you in here. Moses 7.8 says Jackie. And then moving on to the midfield, we'll start off with Kraus. I mean, he was decent. I do feel he was better than the other day. Again, his interceptions were good the other day. It's just I thought his passing was a bit off. But in this game, he was better than the other day for me. So I think I'll just go with 7.
Yeah, I'll give him a 7 as well. I thought he was decent. You know, link up play. Obviously, he had the shot at the end, which created the chance, regardless if he didn't take that shot.
His assist, yeah.
Or he could have blasted it over the bar. Do you know what I mean? So, you know, that it's basically an assist. And you know, he's generally keeps it ticking over and stuff like that in midfield, and he's you know, he's got good touch, good awareness. You can see he's got real quality. Do you know what I mean? And you know, he's one player that we definitely should be looking at keeping moving forwards. But yeah, I'll go a little bit higher actually. I'll give him 7.5.
Yeah, that's fair enough. 8.5 says Charlie. Fair enough. 7 says Jackie. She's the same as me. Worked hard, good pass for Morris. Yeah, I mean, it was an interesting one, wasn't it? With yeah, like you say, with that cross shot, because sometimes they do it and they blaze it over. You know, you have seen them in football loads, them chances wasted. So it's good that it sort of worked. How it did. Well, it was good, but yeah, it was one of them where we were just piling up the pressure anyway. You know, I felt it was a matter of time just watching it because it just reminded me of that second half against Sheffield Wednesday, and just that rampant display. And every time they were getting the ball, having a chance, they were wasting it. It was terrible. I don't even think they other than a goal, did they put like a major shot on target? I can't really think.
But it did have where Kaminsky saved it, but they had space. I can't remember who it was. Might have been Cannon or Manoff, but Kaminsky was equal to it. In my opinion, so.
Yeah, predominantly. Yeah, we really. They were so wasteful. Kraus has some brilliant passes. Yeah, he does. He's got very good eye for a pass. And again, that's the thing. When he come in, you think he's going to be more defensive minded, but he's sort of done a bit of both, hasn't he? Yeah, sort of like we give him. Yeah, exactly that is what I was going to say. So, yeah, absolutely. Moving on to Clark. Again, you could give him a man of the match. You know, and obviously he has scored in other games this season, but I just feel this was a better game because, you know, it was just the crosses were a threat every single time. You know, and he looked really good in the game. You know, he's definitely warranting a start after that performance anyway. You know, even with the players out. So fair play to him. You know, good performance from him. I'll give him a 7.5.
I'm going to give him man of the match. I'm going to give him an 8. You know, we do criticise him playing in that position at times, but when we're at home, it's not, it's just away sometimes, if we get overrun in midfield and that. But he was pretty decent, on the field like that. But his set pieces and stuff, he was involved in both of the goals. His crossing in his corner, his free kicks and everything like that was always dangerous, always put into the correct area. You know what I mean? So, and generally all round he was decent, and he's been at the club longest pretty much, I think, and all the other players that are starting. So yeah, it was good to see. He's my man of the match. I'm going to give him an 8.
Yeah, well, a lot of people agree with you in the chat, Dad. Jackie's gone man of the match, 8 as well. 8.5 man of the match, good game, good corners. Yeah, exactly that. And then Clark, 8.7. Says Charlie, fair enough. And then moving on we'll go over to Brown first, out of that front three. Decent, try causing, threats at times like he does. But obviously I've seen slightly better games from him, so I'll just go over 7.
Yeah, I'll give him a 7, but you know what? Like, having them 3 on the pitch at the same time, is a problem for defence. He's got pace. Morris has got the strength, and that Elijah's on smoke at the moment. So, having him on there as well, it gives the team, the opposition a lot to think about. And that's what he was good at that. Yeah, he didn't get his goal, but he scored in a previous game. Do you know what I mean? He's his goal to start ratio is probably quite good this season. I think he's definitely scored twice, and he's only started probably like 3 or 4 times or something like that. But yeah, I'll give him a 7. But he's always a threat. And Elijah's goal was quite similar in certain ways to the goal he did score against Norwich.
Yeah, true.
Obviously, Elijah's was a tiny bit further out and looked like a better finish. Do you know what I mean? Just a turn and just a whack. You know what I mean? Similar. And I think they can gel quite well. I wouldn't mind seeing that going forward. Actually, that not front 3 kind of thing. So yeah, I'll give him a 7.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. Obviously, he's got 3 goals this season. One of them was obviously coming on. The first one was obviously coming on against Watford, which was probably his best goal, I'd say. And then obviously he got the one against Cardiff, didn't he? And then obviously he scored against Norwich, like we say. So yeah, he's doing well. And again, that's why I was saying about putting him ahead of Elijah, because whether he was starting or not at the time, he was chipping in with the goals as well. Whereas Elijah wasn't quite at the time, but now he is. So make of that what you will. Like say, do you go with a 3 like you say, Dad, or do you go with 2 and then maybe bring one of them on? I don't know. It's all interesting, but that's good. You like that. You like them debates. It's always good to have that competition. Jackie says about the Clark situation. He showed we don't need Doughty all the time. Yeah, exactly. It's like we said that earlier. It's like even on corners when we had Doughty, he's going on both sides, moving one or the other. Like one each, do one each. Clark taking one side, Doughty on the other, or vice versa, whoever else, and Doughty when he's back. But everyone has pretty much gone with a 7. Bar Jackie, who went for 6.5, which is fair enough. Moving on to the next player, we'll go over to Elijah. Obviously, got the winning goal. Was using that relentless press yet again, and 3 out of 3. How long can he keep this going? We shall see. But he's getting the goals now. Like we always say, he's obviously a confidence player, so it's good that he's getting the goals now. And again, obviously got the winner. So for me, I will go with a 7.5.
I'll give him an 8. He was right up there. Possibly could have had a hat trick as well. Their last ditch defending from another Clark corner was crazy. And then they had another shot cleared off the line. He was always a threat, and was fighting to the last minute as well. Linking up well with the Morris and Brown, like old school, like how the last time they scored together and we won, I don't even know if what I mean. and it's good to see that they both scored. But yeah, I thought he was really good. He could have had a hat trick on another day, and he's definitely full of confidence at the moment, and that's what we want to see. You know what I mean? So I can give him an 8.
Yeah, no, absolutely, definitely. Like I say, it's a confidence player, so he's obviously got that confidence now, getting 3 out of 3. But yeah, other ratings on Elijah, 8.9 says Charlie, 7.5 says Jackie, same as me. Great finish, 5 from 9. Yeah, exactly. Obviously, moving on to Morris a bit too early. But yeah, we're getting to Morris now. Obviously, we made no subs. So, obviously, this is the last player. Got the goal, very good header. And again, it's good to see him score because, like I said, that's his first goal since Coventry away, which was obviously the penalty. So, and it was quite ironic because I think we were saying it either on the last one or the one before. Hopefully he can get that goal. I did predict him to score in this game, and obviously he did. So that was good. Obviously, it was a massive part of that win. Stayed on the whole game. I thought his leadership was good again. So I'll go with another 7.5.
Yeah, much improved performance from the last 2 games. Classic, leading the line well. Great header. Determination to get on the end of it, and still had a lot to do. You know what I mean? Really, to header it the way he did. Should have probably scored that other one, but it happens. It was still very, very close. And just on the front foot, and holding up the ball, and showing that togetherness with the goal celebrations and that really looked good. And they just looked like they'd had some kind of meet. I don't know, but they just looked together, and he was a big part of that. But I'll give him 7.5.
Yeah, absolutely. It goes back to what I've said the last couple of weeks. He hasn't quite got the goals, until now. But I just thought I'd keep him. Before we started playing the 3, just because of that leadership, really. And you obviously see it massively, like say in that game. So, yeah, Jackie says 7.5 for Morris, which obviously I read out. 7.5 again, 7.7. So they are the ratings. So obviously, like I say, Holmes got his first rating of the season from us, and obviously Clark now that's put him with 3 votes for this season so far. So all interesting. As for the points, obviously we got nothing. It's 11-9 to me. Obviously, I did get the Swansea game right, which obviously put me back into the lead after you took the lead against me, Dad. So going to be interesting. 2 points clear at the moment. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, overall, good win. We were very resilient, and we just kept the pressure going, really. But let's follow that up. Let's follow that up and try and get a good result at Blackburn. But any final things, Dad, you want to say on the game before we move on?
I'd like to see that that fight. But this is where we've definitely got to continue it. You know what I mean? And that's more important than that. You know what I mean? That makes sense. So, we don't, even if we lose, we want to go to or see watching an away game where you think, do you know what, we were unlucky or whatever. Not we just got well, which has been happening, isn't it? Let's be honest.
Exactly. Yeah.
Just have a bit of what Luke Berry had. You know what I mean? In that Tyrrell game like that if and that'd be fine for me. Do you know what I mean? Because we've got to try and improve, yeah. But their home form is pretty decent, and it's say it every week, but it's not going to be easy. But if we play a certain way or with that togetherness and that, even with the injuries, then I don't see any issue really.
No, I agree. And it's like, talking on their home form, they had a really good record at the start of the season. I remember they just wouldn't lose at home up until they played, I think it was Sheffield United. And they lost 2-0, which was like, yeah, Sheffield United, obviously, a lot of people expect them to be up there, but the fact they didn't even score in that game was a surprise to me. But yeah, talking on Blackburn, they've impressed me this year. Obviously, if you've seen my championship predictions at the start of the season, I did actually say they'd go down. I thought the Schmodek's departure would, like a lot of people, would obviously impact them, but it hasn't. They've recruited well. I think it's Ohashi, I say his name, the striker, the Japanese one. He's a really good player from what I've seen. Obviously, they've got a few other good players as well at their club, especially going forward, attacking players. And obviously, they've got that experience as well a lot throughout their team. So it's an interesting one. Like I say, we do have good records there in the recent years. Obviously, the 2-2, which was actually my first ever Luton away game in the Championship. And that was obviously absolute flipping limbs, mate. I'll tell you that. So yeah, obviously, if you watch that vlog, that's a very old vlog, but that was great. That had everything to it. That was a typical first game really for me. I think there was even a red card maybe in that game for someone, but it just had everything. First half, 2-0 down, thinking we're going to lose, thinking we just weren't going to do anything in the second half. I remember Sonny Bradley, right? As much as Berry got the goal, Sonny Bradley that game, when he come on, the way he steadied that defence, and was playing the balls up there, urging the team to go forward, he was a massive part of that win as well. And then obviously Berry come on, and we know what happened there. As soon as we got one, I was like, "No, do you know what? We're gonna bring it back," and obviously we did. So that was a great memory. Probably my best memory, other than the standout ones, beating Watford, of games that I've been to, and obviously the playoff final. To be honest, we didn't even win the game. So yeah, and then obviously the last time we played, it was a 1-1 draw, but we were already in the playoffs, so we didn't really have to play for anything. Obviously, Lockyer did score in that game. I remember doing a watch long, and then they got an equaliser, and I think they had a great opportunity at the end of the game where they hit a crossbar from like outside the box or something. So it was a meaningful game for us at the time, though, because we're already in the playoffs, like I say, pretty much anyway. So it's an interesting one, like I say, memorable games. Dad, obviously the one where we stayed up, obviously that was at home, but that one, the 3-2 win, that was obviously a standout one as well. And they have been good games. I think the time where we were struggling at home as well, and then we eventually got a win, I think that was against Blackburn as well, when Reece Burke scored that great goal. I can't remember who scored the other goal that day, but yeah, it's a 2-0 win. So we do have them memorable games against them, really, when you think of all of these games. Stuff always happens in it. So it should be an interesting one. But yeah, going into the statistics and insights on it. So this is good to hear from our end, and it goes back to what we say. Blackburn Rovers have won just one of their last 11 league games against Luton, drawing 4, losing 6. A 1-0 victory in January 2021, courtesy of an Adam Armstrong strike. This is also good to hear from our end. Luton Town have lost just one of their last 5 away league games against Blackburn Rovers, winning 2, drawing 2, having lost 5 of their previous 6 league trips there. Obviously, that bit's not good, but a bit before that. Blackburn have won 6 of their 9 league games at Ewood Park so far this season, drawing 1, losing 2. Since 2001 to 2, Rovers have only won at least 7 of their first 10 such games to begin a campaign, doing so in 2023, 2022-3, which was 8. This is not good to hear from our end. Luton have lost each of their last 6 away league games, conceding 20 goals in that run, 3.3 per game. The Hatters haven't endured a longer such run in the Football League in February. In February 2020, which is obviously a run of 11. And then this one, I can't lie, if the away performances continue, this will get broken this year. Luton Town have lost 14 away league games in 2024, their most in a year as an EFL side since 2008, which was also 14. Last suffered more away defeats in a year back in 1991, which was 15. So literally 2 more losses away, and unfortunately that record's broken, not in a good way. So the first ones do benefit us, and you look at the overall history against Blackburn, we have actually beaten more times as well over the years as well. So that's good, because not a lot of teams we do, beat them more than they've beaten us. So that's good to see. overall we beat them 18 times, 16 draws and 13 defeats. So more draws than losses as well, which again is another good thing to look at based on that. But a bit more about Blackburn. John Eustace led the Rovers to survival last season, scoring their fortunes on the final day when they beat Leicester 2-0 away from home. I remember that. Schmodix obviously scored in that game. Blackburn currently sit fifth in the Championship table, having won 10, drawn 4 and lost 5 of their 19 games so far this season. Rovers have recently defeated playoff hopefuls Leeds United and Middlesbrough before beating Sheffield Wednesday at Hillsborough on Tuesday, with Gay scoring the only goal of the game. Obviously, like I said, the last time we played it was a 1-1 draw. And then the official for this game will be Michael Salisbury. 28 yellow cards and 2 red cards have been handed out by Salisbury across his 8 games this season, 3 of which have been in the top flight. Our last fixture, guys, with this referee was when we played Fulham at Craven Cottage. And if you remember rightly, especially in my opinion, I still stand by it, that goal they scored, that should not have stood. That was when they beat us 1-0, obviously the handball in the build-up. And even then, to only, I know obviously, we still lost the game, but to only lose it 1-0 against Fulham last year, when you look at how good they were at home, we could have actually got a draw, if it weren't for that. That was very early on in the season as well. So, yeah, it's one of them referees, but again, we got to deal with it now. We got to, do our own thing. But yeah, after saying all that, Dad, how are you feeling going into this one?
Well, we are a bogey team for them. As I said before, it's normally good games against them. They've won the last 5 though in a row. They've beat Leeds at home. They've had a few 1-0 wins as well. So generally they seem to be good at keeping clean sheets. But we are getting back to scoring, and even when we do lose away, generally we're still scoring most of the time. So, and we need to turn a corner away. We do. So I wouldn't say I'm confident, but I'd say that I feel more positive about getting something there. I do. So yeah.
The Stoke game gave you a bit more hope.
Yeah. You know what I mean? So and well, that's happened before. Let's not mess around. But and they're another team that are up there. They deserve to be up there. But and they've won the last 3. So it's not going to be easy, obviously. But the bogey team does come into effect, and we just seem to play well against them. And we've got the Kaminsky factor as well. So hopefully our masterclass against his old team and proves why he went and stuff, because that's going to be interesting, the reception he gets and things like that. I think he's getting a right one, but I think they will put a lot of pressure on him. I think so. That's going to be interesting. But yeah, it's a good stadium. Obviously you've been there, and it's a good atmosphere. So yeah, let's see what happens. Let's see if we can actually turn our away form around, because that's what we definitely need to be doing that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Like you say, on their ground, I do like their ground actually. It's probably, my personal opinion, one of the best away ends I've been in, because I like the ones where you get the whole bit behind the goal, and that's what they give you. Ones that are in a corner, I don't really like them. Unless it's like a curved sort of corner, I don't mind it. That's just my personal opinion. Or like Wolves, I've never done Wolves, but where they're on the throw-on line and that, I don't like that. But yeah, I mean, yeah, as for me going into this game, that Stoke game has given me a bit more confidence. However, I'd say, they're very good at home. Still, I think they're like 6th on the home form overall. So it's still, it's still up there, the 5th, doing much better than I thought. I do rate their manager, always have. I did think, when he got sacked from Birmingham, that was a bit harsh, to be honest. So I've always rated him as well. So not going to be an easy game, like I say, they've got them attackers that can definitely hurt us, especially with the the makeshift defence we will have. Let's be honest. Obviously, the only positive when it comes to their team news this weekend is obviously Walsh is back. He's going to be on the bench still. I can't see him coming straight back in. I'll be very surprised. But it's good that he is back. Because I do think in majority of games he has done well. Bar that Oxford game where obviously he had that 30 seconds of madness. But yeah, it's good to see that he's back. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. But yeah, we will get into that time lineup. So I'll start off with mine, going into it like I always do. So I've actually gone. Let me just move that at the bottom. So I've gone with a 3-4-1-2. So Kaminsky in goal. Again, goes without saying. The only worry I do have with Kaminsky, as much as I rate him, I think shot stopping he's unbelievable. He's definitely one of the best in the league, if not the best, when it comes to shot stopping. I just worry a little bit, like I say, with that Blackburn fans putting the pressure on him with the goal kicks. Sometimes there is always at least one game mainly where he does obviously get it out. It's not great. So that's my only worry. Shot stopping, unbelievable. And you're going to stick with him anyway. My back three, Holmes, McGuinness, Anderson. Now, I know we said what we said about Anderson. I just worry with Chong being a wing back away from home. Because of that Norwich game. That Norwich game just haunts me because of that. And again, I know I said what I said about Anderson earlier, but I don't really know who else there is. You could put Hashioka deeper, but then who are you going to put out wide other than Chong and Moses? I'm not too sure. So I've gone with him. But if it's not working, I'll take him off. I would take him off. And you have to bring Chong on, I guess, if he's not starting, or change it up in some sort of way. Going Hashioka in his proper position, put him there. I mean, the last against Norwich, as much as we lost, I thought he was one of the better players. Obviously, he was playing as that wing back. So I'll go with him there. Moses on the left, he has to play. He has to play there again. Or on either side of the wing, I don't mind, but he has to play there again. Unbelievable last two games. I've gone Krause and Nakamba. That's for more cover. We're away from home. I've gone with more cover there. And then I've actually gone Clark. He has to keep playing. But I've actually gone higher up in this game because, like we said earlier, a lot of away games we've had, it's been quite exploited, the midfield, when he's been in it, alongside Krause, for example. Especially Plymouth away. That's a clear example, in my opinion. So I'll keep Clark in, definitely. I'll put him higher, which obviously means I have put Chong rested to the bench. And then obviously I've gone with Morris and Elijah. I've gone with the front two. Again, I wouldn't mind the front three. But yeah, they both scored, didn't they? So that's why I've not put Brown in. But if we do go with this, I'd like to see Brown come on, definitely, at some point in the second half. So that's my lineup going into it. And then obviously your lineup, Dud. There you go.
I've just gone with the same team that just played, mate, basically. I can see why you've made them things. And yeah, I forgot about the Nakamba, to be honest. Maybe we'll put 3-5-2. So instead of maybe Brown starting, we'll put Nakamba in there. But after the back three, I reckon probably going to keep him there. I wouldn't be risking putting Anderson in yet. And then Moses or either side for them.
Yeah, I don't mind that.
That's what I'm thinking. But yeah, I think actually we'll probably go with 3-5-2, to be honest. But I didn't want to change the winning side, and I think that sometimes we give teams a little bit too much respect or whatever we're doing away, especially from our way. You know what I mean? We should be putting it on certain teams and seeing what's happened. Do you know what I mean? Especially they've got a lot of clean sheets, but I think you've got to put them under that pressure. So that's why I've gone with the three up front, basically. But we'll see. We'll see what happens.
I don't even know what that is.
Crazy.
But yeah, like I say, the 3-1. Yeah, I wouldn't mind that. At all. Like I say, it obviously worked the other day, and sometimes you don't change your winning side. And again, like I say, I do. Obviously, I rate Chong as a player, It's just the wing back. I don't know. Just that Norwich game, it does haunt me a little bit. So that's the only reason I haven't gone with him there. And again, obviously, I know I said about Anderson earlier. I just don't really know who, other than dropping Hashioka as a centre back. I don't really know what we then do out wide. You have to go with Chong, wouldn't you? Really, because there's not anyone else. Bell's out, Doughty's out. I can't think of it. I don't want to see Brown there.
You could put Johnson there, but
yeah,
it's a bit risky, isn't it?
Yeah, because he hasn't played for a while, has he? In the main team, anyway. I know he's been in the development team, but the main team he hasn't. So, yeah. I mean, I'll be honest, guys. Even though he hasn't played for a while, you're probably better off putting Nelson there as a right wing back. He actually done all right when he played there against QPR in the cup, didn't he? Obviously scored that great goal as well. And I think, as much as they both haven't played for a while, I think Nelson is slightly on better performances this season from what you've seen. So yeah, Rich says, in my opinion, same back five from Tuesday. Yeah, fair enough. It could very well be. I wouldn't be surprised. Jackie also says, we played well Tuesday. I'm going to go for another draw, 1-1. They are a low-scoring team, and I'd be happy with a point. Go with your team, Ty, apart from Anderson. Yeah, I thought a lot of people would say that, which is fair enough. 1-1 draw. Well, we'll move on to our predictions, Dad. Like I say, we've got a good record against Blackburn over the years. Can we get a decent result away from home?
We can, but I just think with the injuries, even if we perform well, that we're not gonna win. Obviously, happy to be proven wrong. Teetering between a couple of things, but I'm going to stay positive. I'm going to go for I think there'll be goals in these because there are always these goals when we play them generally. So I'm going to go for a 2-2 draw.
Okay, 2-2 draw. Well, that's pretty ironic. So I'm going to this game, and last time I went, it was a 2-2 draw. I'll tell you what, if it was that type of game again, I wouldn't even be surprised with how we've been away, and then we finally come back instead of a team coming back against us away. Yeah. But yeah, as for me, I'm going to go with a draw as well. I'm not going to go as high scoring, but I'm going to go with a 1-1 draw, what it was the last time we went there. I do think we definitely have the capabilities of scoring. It's just keeping them out, especially their attacking threat, and also the fact of it's going to be a makeshift defence in one area for us, which probably will be that right centre back side. So 1-1 for me. So yeah, that's my prediction when it comes to that. Obviously, we get into our goal scorers in a second. Do get in your predictions and goal scorers in the chat. Rich also says, think Nakamba has been saved for tomorrow. Yeah, it could very well be. It makes sense, wouldn't it, being away from home? It is. I do want to see them, if we're going to go with two in midfield and then like a cam, or whether we're going to go, sort of whoever's in front of them to free roaming. I do want to see them two playing away from home because, like I said, Clark away from home in that midfield, it hasn't really worked, has it? It's been quite exploited and open. But I wouldn't mind seeing Clark in the cam role, like I said. He definitely should still play. It's just where does he play? Probably will be centre midfield, but obviously this is our opinions and stuff. Paul's gone with a 2-1 win for Luton, which would be massive. To go there and get a 2-1 win, that would be a very good. That'd be really good. Because we haven't won. Well, other than Millwall, we haven't won away, have we? So we need to really up that. And it's. So I was watching, like you do, your old videos just to see what they're like. And it was, I can't remember what game it was, but I was talking about us away, and we were like the third best team away. Like, what's happened to that? And that was obviously the year we went up. So, we just need to, like I say, try not to give the teams too much respect because I feel we sit back at times and we sort of ask for it. And I just think if we do that with our defence that we have, makeshift defence, that's risky, especially against Blackburn, who are doing really well. Much better than majority of people would have said. So, yeah. But yeah, Paul's gone in with his goal scorers, Morris and Elijah. So Morris, that'll be 2 out of 2 if that's the case. Elijah, 4 out of 4. That'd be really good. Who are your 2 goal scorers then?
I'm going to go Elijah to continue it. And I'm going to go for Kraus.
Kraus. Okay, that's an interesting one. That my goal scorer. I am gonna go. Do you know what? I'm gonna go Jordan Clark. Jordan Clark to be that guy. Last time it was a midfielder. Well, when I went, obviously Berry with the two. So I'm gonna say Clark. You know, I've got a feeling after that performance the other day, he could chip in with a goal for us tomorrow. He is guaranteed to start. Let's be honest. It's just a matter of where does he play tomorrow, but probably in the centre midfield, like I say. But any final things, Dad, you want to say?
Nah, just see what happens. Look forward to it. Yeah, just see what happens. Hopefully, we can turn a corner away. So yeah.
Yeah. Jackie is on the same wavelength as me, and with Jordan Clark to get the goal as well. So we shall see. But yeah, big up to everyone that's tuned in. Obviously, do smash a like on the stream if you haven't already. Do subscribe to the channel. New subscriber earlier today. So big up to yourself for that. Obviously, regarding this game, I've decided I will be going to this game. So there will be a vlog, and got a new bit of equipment that I'm going to use actually. So that's going to be pretty sick to do that. So stay tuned for that. Hopefully, if I bump into Mike, which I always do at the moment, which is just great, I can get him to do a fan cam for you guys. And yeah, if not, I'll do one myself if I don't see him. And then obviously there'll be a vlog that'll come out. So yeah, man, keep checking out the vlogs. The recent ones doing really well. So big up to yourselves for that. And yeah, like I say, smash a like, subscribe, follow me across all my socials. Do subscribe to the extra channel as well. And obviously we don't play until Friday now, after tomorrow. So we'll probably do a reaction hat show at some point on Sunday or Monday. We will do the preview to the Derby game on Thursday, as the game is on Friday. So, yeah, man, big up to everyone that's tuned in, and big up yourselves, guys. Until next time, take care and peace. Hopefully we can get a result.
Come on.
Come on.